Good morning to all my dear students of class 12 of all the three streams, Science, Commerce and Humanities. Once again, I am here with the chapter On the Face of It by Susan Hill. Now, in my previous class, students, I have already explained to you page numbers 63, 64 and 65. Today, I will be continuing my explanation from page numbers 66, 67, 68 and 69. Moreover, in my very first class, that is on Monday, the class which I have taken, that was my first class of this chapter, that is 10th August. I have already told you that this chapter, that is On the Face of It by Susan Hill, this chapter is divided into three scenes, scene 1, scene 2 and scene 3. Today we will be doing the last part of scene 1, okay, that is in page number 66, and a small part we will find in page number 67. And after the completion of scene 1, we will start with scene 2, that is on page number 67 and page number 68. And the last scene, that is scene 3, begins from page number 68 and continues up to page number 69. So you kindly follow my explanation now. And don't forget to put your attendance in the comment box. Students, you look into page number 66 and the rest portion of scene 1, which continues on page number 67, the last part. Derry, they tell me, Mr. Lamb, do you have to agree? Derry, I don't know what I want. I want something no one else has got or ever will have. Something just mine, like this garden. I don't know what it is. Mr. Lamb, you could find out. Derry, how? Mr. Lamb, waiting, watching, listening. Sitting here or going there, I will have to see to the bees. Derry, those other people who come here, do they talk to you? Ask you things? Mr. Lamb, some do, some don't. I ask them. I like to learn. Derry, I don't believe in them. I don't think anybody ever comes. You are here all by yourself and miserable, and no one would know if you were alive or dead, and nobody cares. Mr. Lamb, you think what you please. Derry, all right then. Tell me some of their names. Mr. Lamb, what are names? Tom, Dick or Harry? Getting up. I am off down to the bees. Derry, I think you are daft. Crazy. Mr. Lamb, that's a good excuse. Derry, what for? You don't talk sense. Mr. Lamb, good excuse not to come back. And you have got a burned up face, and that's other people's excuse. Derry, you are like the others. You like to say things like that. If you don't feel sorry for my face, you are frightened of it. And if you are not frightened, you think I am ugly as a devil. I am a devil, don't you? Shouts Derry. Mr. Lamb does not reply. He has gone to his bees. Derry, quietly. No, you don't. I like it here. Pause. Derry gets up and shouts, I am going, but I will come back. You see, you wait, I can run. I haven't got a tin leg. I will be back. Derry runs off. Silence, the sounds of the garden again. Mr. Lamb, to himself, there, my dears, that's you seen too. Ah, you know, we all know. I will come back. They never do, though. Not them. Never do come back. The garden noises fade. What do the conversations of Mr. Lamb and Dairy in page number 66, which has been continued in page number 67, where the scene 1 ends, mean? Dairy said that his family forced him to do things their way. Mr. Lamb said that it was Dairy's wish to agree with them or not. Dairy was confused about what he wanted, something that was only his and no one had it, like the garden. Mr. Lamb said that he could find out what he wanted. Dairy asked how he could do that. Mr. Lamb told him to wait, watch, and listen. He added that he had to see the bees. Dairy asked that did the other visitors talk to Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb replied that some did while some did not. Dairy said that he did not believe that someone ever visited the place. Mr. Lamb lived alone all by himself. No one cared for him. Mr. Lamb said that Dairy could think as he pleased. Dairy asked him the names of some of the visitors. Mr. Lamb said that names were nothing. They could be like Tom, Dick, or Harry. He left to see the bees. Dairy said that perhaps Mr. Lamb was mentally challenged. Mr. Lamb said that was a good excuse for Dairy, but Dairy said that Mr. Lamb did not talk sense, and that's why he said so. Mr. Lamb repeated that it was a good excuse for not returning to the garden. Dairy's face was burnt, which was other people's excuse for not seeing Dairy. Dairy said that Mr. Lamb was like other people. If he was not sorry that his face was burnt, then maybe he was scared of it. If not that, then maybe he thought that Dairy was as ugly as a devil. He added that he was a devil. Dairy shouted. Mr. Lamb did not reply. He had gone to see the bees. Dairy became calm and said that Mr. Lamb did not think him to be a devil. He liked to be in the garden. Dairy got up and shouted that he was leaving and that he would return to see him. He did not have a thin leg, could run, and would be back soon. Dairy ran off. The place was silent with the sounds of the creatures of the garden. Mr. Lamb talked to the bees that they saw all that happened. They all knew that no one ever returned to the garden. Look, students, into page number 67 of your textbook Vistas, chapter On the Face of It by Susan Hill. Scene 2 begins. Where does it begin? Dairy's house. Mother: you think I don't know about him. You think I haven't heard things. Dairy: you shouldn't believe all you hear. Mother: been told, warned. We have not lived here 3 months, but I know what there is to know, and you are not to go back there. Dairy: what are you afraid of? What do you think he is? An old man with a thin leg, and he lives in a huge house without curtains and has a garden. And I want to be there and sit and listen to things. Listen and look. Mother: listen to what? Dairy: bees singing, him talking. Mother: and what's he got to say to you? Dairy: things that matter, things nobody else has ever said, things I want to think about. Mother: then you stay here and do your thinking. You are best off here. So students, you see, scene 2 begins from page number 67. And the second scene is at Dairy's house, and Dairy is talking to his mother. What do these conversations between his mother and himself mean of page number 67. His mother asked, what did Derry think of her? She had already heard about Mr. Lamb. Derry told her not to believe what others said, but she warned him that she knew what was required to be known about any person and therefore asked him not to go back. Derry asked her the reason of her fear. He told her that Mr. Lamb was just an old man with a tin leg and had a big house without curtains and a garden. He said that he wanted to go back and listen to things. His mother was curious to know what was it that he wanted to listen. He replied that he wanted to hear bees singing and wanted to listen to what Mr. Lamb said, but she didn't find it suitable, and so she told him to stay at home and think about what he wanted to. Students, you now look into page number 68. Derry, I hate it here. Mother, you can't help the things you say. I forgive you. It's bound to make you feel bad things and say them. I don't blame you. Derry, it's got nothing to do with my face and what I look like. I don't care about that, and it isn't important. It's what I think and feel and what I want to see and find out and hear. And I'm going back there. Only to help him with the crab apples. Only to look at things and listen. But I'm going. Mother, you will stop here. Derry, oh no. Because if I don't go back there, I will never go anywhere in this world again. The door slams. Derry runs, panting. And I want the world. I want it. The sound of his panting fades. Now students, what do this part where Derry and his mother's conversations were going on of scene 2 in page number 68 mean? Derry said that he hated to remain at home. His mother excused him for speaking wrong because he felt bad and so spoke that way. Derry said that it had nothing to do with his face. The important thing was how he thought and what he saw or heard. He announced that he would go back into the garden to help Mr. Lamb with the crab apples. His mother tried to stop him, but he ran away, shutting the door behind him. Students, now you look into page number 68 of your textbook Vistas, where scene 3 begins. Mr. Lamb's garden. Garden sounds, the noise of a branch shifting, apples thumping down, the branch shifting again. Mr. Lamb. Steady. That's. Got it. That's it. More apples fall. And again. That's it. And. A creak. A crash. The ladder falls back. Mr. Lamb with it. A thump. The branch swishes back. Creaks. Then silence. Derry opens the garden gate. Still panting. Derry. You see, I came back. You said I wouldn't and they said, but I came back, I wanted. He stops dead. Silence. Mr. Lamb, Mister, you have. He runs through the grass, stops, kneels. Mr. Lamb, it's all right. You fell. I am here. Mr. Lamb, it's all right. Silence. Look into page number 69. The last 2 lines of scene 3 and the chapter ends there. Derry's conversation continues there in page number 69. I came back, lammy lamb, I did come back. Jerry begins to weep. What does scene 3 mean? So students, you see the last scene, that is the third scene in page number 68 and 69 takes place in Mr. Lamb's garden. There was the sound of branches. Mr. Lamb was talking to himself while he was plucking the apples. Suddenly a harsh sound of the cracking wood was heard and the ladder fell on the ground. Mr. Lamb fell too. Jerry opened the gate. He was still breathing rapidly and declared to Mr. Lamb that he had returned. He looked at him and found him lying on the ground. He went near him and tried to talk to him, but no one replied. Jerry kept on calling him by his name and suddenly started crying. He did so because he realized that Mr. Lamb was dead. So my dear students, with this I am concluding today's class, and moreover I have explained to you the complete chapter line by line. Further, if you have any doubts, you can clarify your doubts from me, as I have told you earlier also. And in my next class I will be giving you the questions from this chapter. Okay.